Hello, welcome to today's video. Today we should be painting the Spider Droids with Blasters by Puppets War. We begin as usual by starting off with a dark gray base primer. One of the really fun things about this kit is the fact that everything is pre-magnetized. It allows some interesting ways to hold the various bits while you're painting. As you see here shortly, I used a screwdriver with all the legs on it, well, all the scythe talons on it, to paint them without having to manipulate the tiny little bits individually. It's a really good method. I'll probably be using a lot more magnetization in the future with multi-part kit models. Next, I tried to do some pre-shading with white. It didn't work out at all because my next layer that I was trying to pre-shade was a very dark, almost black metallic color. In the future, what I'll probably do is just take my dark metallic color and start adding lighter and lighter colors of metal to it to create a reflective, almost a curved feel to it. So I'm not too this much an extraneous step, and it really didn't turn out at all visible in the final product. Here we have a black metallic colored achieved by mixing 1:1 ratio Vallejo Model Air Black and Armour Warpaints gunmetal. This comes out to almost a carbon fiber effect to it, and I really enjoy this effect. Next, I do a medium silver color, more like a steel color than a silver, with plate mail by Armour Warpainter. One of my ideas was to do various textures of metallics, going with a black, a medium color, and then having a light, almost a white color, metallic color with the scythe talons. Turned out pretty good, especially with later steps where I end up using Secret Weapon Miniatures Armor Wash more as a shade and a tinting than an actual wash. It really ties the whole thing together. One thing to note, I started painting this by hand, and not captured on video, was that I changed to an airbrush because most of this was covered with the plate mail color, and doing it by hand was pretty tedious. Switching over to airbrush, it took me about the same time to do 4 more of these little legs here that did do 1 with the airbrush. Here I used the Armour Warpainter Warpaints Weapon Bronze. Usually for this kind of color I use Vallejo Liquid Metals Copper to achieve this effect, because it's got a very beautiful, realistic looking copper or even a bronze effect if you use the right type of washes to tint that copper color down. Unfortunately, something happened to my paint. It turned to a brown sludge, and I don't think I got water in there, because I've gotten water in the pot before. It created a realistic looking patina copper rust effect on it. This is just literally a sludge. Next up, we're using Secret Weapon Miniatures Armor Wash. I'm not really using it as a wash so much as a tint and a shading element to really bring the bright medium metal and the black metal into the same hue shift. It worked out great. This leaves it with a rusty, worn, dirty look that I think is very appropriate for some kind of a military assault droid to have. Next we begin our OSL process. I pre-coded everything that I want to do the OSL effect with white. Here I'm using a very heavy hand putting in the grooves on the back of these droids. I'm not worried about my overspill because a simple wipe with a thumb or a damp paper towel removes overage without any issues. I really have to pre-coat with a white because I'm using a transparent yellow ink and it's a fairly weak color in terms of coverage. But pre-coating with the white, especially concentrating it most in deepest areas where the glow is coming from, really helps that yellow pop out as a glowing effect. And now we follow up with the actual glow color transparent yellow. With the pre-shading on the white, it really allows the darkest white to pick up the color and really make it nice and vibrant and popping out. Where the white wasn't quite as apparent, it now becomes a medium yellow hue. With overspray to where there's no white pre-shading whatsoever, you have a very faint yellow effect on it. It really helps sell the shades of yellow, going from a very intense yellow all the way out to a diffuse, almost non-existent yellow on the very edges. And I very much like the way this is working out for me in terms of technique. We come back again with white. I'm only doing this on the weapon glows because I'm not accurate enough for the grooves, but putting the white back in the very heart of the glowing effect really makes it look like it's almost a white hot color. I'm not spraying to the point where the white actually overrides the yellow. It's not coating it entirely, so it gives it a slightly off white look in the very center, but it just helps sell that intense burning glowing look even more in the deepest recesses of these guns. And finally we finish up with Vallejo liquid metal silver. I always have good stuff to say about liquid metals because it coats almost entirely in one coat, it goes on very smooth, and it gives a realistic look to what it actually says it is. This looks like it's actually silver on these talons. I enjoy his paints very much, aside from somehow getting a bad pop, which to be honest I bought well over a year ago, so maybe it's just been sitting around too long, it's been going through it. I think it's a very worthwhile investment in the price for your paint set. Not pictured in the video, I finished up with a gloss coat. It helps seal in all these washes I was doing and gives it an overall reflective feel as opposed to a matte coat, which really turned down a lot of metallic feels when going for it. And here's some final in-action shots. I'm really happy with the overall kit. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it while I was reviewing it, but it is a bit brittle with the plastic. I managed to break the tips off a few of the sky talons and a few of those legs, but overall it's a very good kit. I have them posed here with some science fiction Wolfmen from Bronze Age Mini. I was planning on doing a review on these figures as well, but unfortunately the painting video got lost, so I'm going to have as a review on the overall impression of those figures in general. I'm really happy with the kit. It painted up fairly easily, spent about 20 minutes per model on average for the entire project, and there's nothing really too bad to say about it. The price points have recently gone up, but it's still worthwhile if you want to get some variation in your painting to happen. As always, like, share, and subscribe.